Hello, this is Nikki. I'm back with number 4 of my hemithyroidectomy videos. I just wanted to give you an update on how I'm going 4 weeks post-surgery. So I have to say everything has been going really well. I didn't have any pain at all, so I've had no medication or anything right from when I came out of the anaesthetic. After the operation, I haven't needed a single painkiller or anything like that, which is great. So I don't have all those horrible chemicals in my body. I've been pretty active, still doing lots of walks and everything. The only thing that I have done is avoided lifting in the first probably 10 or 12 days. After that, my husband got COVID, so I had to be really careful as he was in isolation. So just what I was picking up and doing grocery shopping and things like that, I just used small bags, and everything took a little bit longer, but I definitely didn't lift too much, which was great. And after about the 3-week mark, it was fine to lift as normal anyway. The other thing I was a little bit concerned about with the surgery as well is I like to sleep on my side. And I was a bit worried that I might need to be propped up on pillows, or what was going to happen with my scar and how it would feel. But it was absolutely fine. I could sleep on my side, no problem. I did just have to be careful when I was rolling over, and if you're lifting your head and your neck and things like that. So that was really good, I have to say. And the only other thing that came up as well, sorry, I'm just reading my notes. The only other thing that came up as well is when I leaned forward, I could sort of feel the pressure and everything against the wound. So when I leant forward, if I had to do it, I would actually put my hand and just support that little wound until I was right. And again, that was about the 2-week mark, and after that it was fine. So in terms of feeding pets and doing that sort of thing, I sort of left that to my husband where I could. But yeah, just that leaning forward, you could really feel it against the scar. But now that's fine. 10 days after they took the bandage off, so I was in hospital on the Monday. On the Wednesday, they took off the bandage, and that's when they gave me the diagnosis that it was cancer. And then 10 days after that, I actually started to come up with the rash, and I'll actually put up a little slide for you so you can see. So the rash you can actually see was around here. So it was where the plastic bandage was. And it came up just a little bit at first, and then it grew and it grew and it grew. So I went back to the hospital and just checked with the doctor that everything was okay and there was no infection. And it just looks like a reaction to the plastic. So there's still a little bit of it there now, but most of it seems to have gone, which is great. But it was strange that it came off 10 days after the bandage had been removed. So I'm not quite sure why that happened, but it's all good now. And the doctor was really happy with it, with everything. And in terms of scar, so let me show you. I'll give you a little up close and personal. So there's my little scar there. So it's looking fantastic. I'm so pleased with it. And I'll tell you how I've been looking after it. So what I started doing is probably 3 or 4 days after I got home, I started, once it had knitted together a little bit, I actually started using vitamin E capsules. So I just cut off the top of the vitamin E capsule and would just put it on and then rub it over the scar very gently. And I'd probably do that about 3 times a day. So one capsule you get about 3 applications from. So I was doing that during the day, and then at night, this will probably show up backwards, but I'll show you anyway. The Biocornium, which is a scar cream. Show how well you can see that. So this is a little scar cream I picked up. After doing a lot of research, I sort of looked at what a lot of people were using. I'm not affiliated with anyone. I just sort of picked what I thought sounded like the best combination for me. So at night I was using this, and this is actually quite, maybe you can actually see it. So it's quite sort of sticky and everything. So I'm just gonna put that on right now while we do that. Yeah, so I would put that on at night before I went to bed. So most of the time I had the scar fairly moisturized. The one thing that I did notice, or at least I read about, sorry, was that with scars, it's better to actually have them, they crave moisture. So putting on the vitamin E and the Biocornium was fantastic for just keeping it really moist. And I think that's why it's healing up so well. In fact, when I lift up my head, it seems like it almost disappears. And then the other thing I was using, which is really, really good, I love this stuff, it's Burt's Bees Mama. And basically, I've got it written down here, nourishing belly butter. I think it's for pregnant mums, for shea butter and vitamin E. So I've also been putting that on. And it's really great, and it just soaks straight in. So also nice for my skin elsewhere, but definitely been using that on my neck as well. So that's been fantastic. And I think for 4 weeks, I'm actually really surprised. I thought it was going to be a lot more pronounced and everything than that. The only other thing I've been doing is protecting it from the sun. So when I go out for a walk, especially in the first 3 weeks, I was really, really careful with it. Every time I went outside or in the car, I always tied a scarf around my neck. Now I'm getting a little bit more relaxed about it. So if I'm in the shade and things like that, having, at a restaurant or something like that, I'll take it off. But most of the time I keep it covered outside, which is great because it's summer and it's getting really hot, and it's hard to make that look chic sometimes. But all I've been doing, I'll just show you here, sort of channeling my ex-flight attendant days. So just sort of tying it around to make sure that it's covered. And I've got my husband on scar check. So every time we go out, he needs to make sure that everything's covered up there. Yeah, so that's what I've been doing to keep it clean, just out of the sun, keeping it moisturised with just that shea butter and the little scar cream and the vitamin E. But everything else has been business as usual, so that's great. The only other thing, obviously, that I've started to think about a little bit is how this happened in the first place. And for me, I was under a lot of stress before I had the lump come up. And for me, I feel like it's kind of the physical manifestation of a lot of that stress that went on for a long period of time. So that's really unfortunate, but also a bit of a wake-up call on how to look after myself when I do feel stressed when it goes on for a long period of time, and how best to deal with that. But still, I feel very calm and very pragmatic about it all, which is great. So I'm quite surprised. I thought I would be a lot more upset, but for some reason I just have a bit of a calm attitude about it, which is really good. So that's basically where I'm at. So the scar looking fantastic. The last 4 weeks has been really, really good. No complaints, and I think I'm healing really well. So yeah, I hope that's helpful for everyone. I've got hormone checks coming up in two or 3 weeks with the doctor, the local doctor. And then in November, which will be 6 months after the surgery, they'll just do another ultrasound and blood work just to check that everything is still okay there and nothing else has come up in the meantime. So yeah, so everything's going really well. I have to say, all told, it's been a really good experience. It was very scary at times along the way when you're not sure what's coming or how you're going to feel or what the reaction's going to be to everything. And the diagnosis as well was a big one. But I have to say, all told, on the other side of it, I'm really happy. Half the things that I was concerned about didn't happen. And I've had a really, really good experience. So far on the road to recovery and feeling good. And yes, so hope all you well. I may do another couple, we'll see how we go, but that's pretty much it for now. It's all good. So wishing you well. If you're going through it yourself, my heart's with you. Take it easy and look after yourself, and it's going to be okay. All right, take care. Bye.